Hello, it's good to be with you once again. And thanks for checking us out once in a while and meditating and contemplating God's Word or Jesus' call on your life. Before we get into the meditation today, we just want to bring you up to date. Most of us know that we've had difficulty hiring a Christian education director to help us coordinate and to plan Sunday school and youth groups. And we had a meeting, and thankfully we've got some wonderful people who have stepped forward, and so indeed this church will have Sunday morning Sunday school and Wednesday youth groups. That will happen, regardless of having an education director or not. We're very thankful for those people to step forward and to bring this, and we're thinking that those will probably start in October, and just pay attention to our communications, and we'll let you know as those plans go forward. So for this week, we are in the Gospel of Mark. And the story we have this week is not an odd story. We read a story like it quite often. Jesus is having a confrontation with the Pharisees. The Pharisees noticed that the disciples of Jesus are not washing their hands before they eat, and they bring that up to Jesus and say, why is it that your disciples disobey the purity laws? Jesus has a conversation, and at the end he basically tells it's not what goes in that defiles you. Or it's not what goes in that separates you from God, but it is what comes out. And that's an interesting take on things. One, we need rules. We need laws. Rules give us a sense of security. Laws give us help build communities. Traditions help keep the church ritual alive. So we need those in our lives, but the question here is, how strongly do we adhere to those? What's more important in this moment and in this time? Is it the rule, is it the law, or is it to love somebody else? Jesus, in his statement of pay attention to what comes out of you, is an invitation for us to look at our heart, to look at our intentions in our actions and in our words. Jesus is inviting us to do some self-awareness, some deep thinking about who we really are and what might need to change. You know, at one time, quite often the church worship service would include a prayer of confession, right? Where we would confess our shortcomings and seek forgiveness from God. But that's kind of fallen out of favor. The people in the congregation had started coming to the pastors and saying, we don't want that. We don't want to come to church and feel bad about ourselves. We just want to feel good about ourselves. But Jesus calls us to self-awareness, not to feel bad about ourselves, but a self-awareness that we might be able to grow in our capacity to love others. The rules and the laws are there for a reason, and we need to pay attention to them. But they are not going to grow our capacity to love. It's only by looking in at our own heart, by examining our intentions and our aims in this world, do we grow in that capacity to love as Christ calls us to. But yet, a lot of us don't like to do that. Self-awareness is challenging, it's painful. And it also means we need to change. So this week in this meditation, I just ask you, do a little self-awareness. How are you feeling about certain things or certain people? What is your intention and what needs to change in your life? That your ability to love might grow a little bit, so we might be able to love as Christ calls us to. Peace.